Hi, I'm Wendy Griffith. I'm chair of the nomination committee for this year's Resident Advisory Council election. Electronic voting starts October 16th through October 30th, and in-person voting will be November 3rd, 6th, 8th, and 10th. But I'm here, first of all, to introduce the wonderful candidates that we have running. You can only vote for 3, but gee, I wish I could vote for all 5. Before the election, you're going to receive this election packet in your mail kiosks, and it has all the information you need about electronic voting, when it is, in-person voting, and it has the biographies of each of the candidates. So our candidates have worked hard to prepare for this election. The nominating committee has worked hard to prepare for this election. So please, all you need to vote, and that will make everything we've done worthwhile. Please vote. Thank you.
Hello, fellow residents. It's good to be with you today. My name is Roger Argalas. I want to thank you for your interest in the RAC elections, and I also want to thank you ahead of time for voting for the RAC candidates. It's nice to have you out there and participating. I have a short biographical statement I'd like to read, if you don't mind. I was born and raised in the state of New Jersey. After college and graduate school, I joined the U.S. Coast Guard, and I trained as a search and rescue helicopter pilot. Most of my assignments were involved in aviation duties, but I also performed other duties such as logistics, building maintenance, training, facilities operations, and public affairs. My last assignment was as the Coast Guard liaison in the Pentagon to the Joint Chiefs of Staff. While on active duty, I was also able to earn a master's degree in business management, attending evening classes. After 26 years with Coast Guard, I was invited to interview for a position with one of the largest school districts in Ohio. My family and I relocated to Cincinnati, where I became a department head for the high school ROTC program, and then was promoted to middle school administrator, and then from there to the Director of Special Education Services. And after retiring from the school district, I then began to volunteer in several areas, first with the AARP tax program, which is a program for low-income seniors to prepare their income taxes. I also tutored elementary school students in the Whiz Kids program. And then finally, I participated with the local Military Officers Association program in Cincinnati as the secretary. But my wife and I and our super dog Ivan moved here in 2023. We live in the Towers. I presently serve on the Veterans Committee, on the Recreation Team, and on the CV Chorus. I also enjoy fitness classes and trivia sessions, and we attend church in the area. I would welcome the opportunity to serve on the council, to share my skills for the betterment of Cypress Village residents and staff. I hope you are well. I hope you stay well and healthy, and thank you so much for listening.
I'm Carol Lukenbach. I was born in New York City and raised in Michigan. I attended the University of Michigan, specializing in special education with a master's degree in guidance and social work. After working in Michigan for years, Pennsylvania and South Carolina, we moved to Jacksonville in 1981. I worked at Sandalwood Senior High School and originated a guidance program for special education. It was very innovative at the time and very successful. After that, after they burned me out at school, I opened a bed and breakfast across the river, and I ran that for 15 years. My volunteer time was mostly with the U.S. Tennis Program in Florida. I was the grievance chairman for the state of Florida. That was fun. and the chief umpire at Bosch and Loam for 14 years. This involved hiring and organizing 55 umpires along with their needs, their meals, their housing, and other issues. More volunteering with many years at Palmetto Place for abused and abandoned children and mothers. And currently I'm volunteering at Beam Thrift Shop, which is the Beaches Emergency Assistant Ministry. I had the privilege of working with Lisa Drew and her crew this last 2 years, and it's been delightful. The Activities Committee asks for and works with the input from the residents as their interests are in trying to schedule and meet their needs. At Cypress, I'm involved with the croquet and the putters and the computer club, and I'm co-leader for bingo with Kate Chambers, and assistant unit leader in my neighborhood. I believe that membership on the Residents Advisory Council requires good communication skills and the ability to work with others. As a team member, I believe that my experiences have given me these qualities. Thank you.
Good morning, villagers. My name's Gina Perrone, and you may not know me, but you know Ned the bartender and Ned the chaplain, and I'm his spouse. We moved to Cypress Village 2.5 years ago from Green Cove Springs. I've lived in Florida for 35 years, but previously lived in Delaware, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Maryland, and New York. On my published bio, I have listed many things I've done. 2 important things I left out: my love of Cypress Village, and who am I? First of all, when we drove into Cypress Village, we were so impressed with the grounds, the lakes, the homes, the big house, the cottages. When we walked inside the concierge area, it was electric. People everywhere, signs for upcoming activities, friends hugging each other or just catching up, the front desk helping with needed information. It was a bingo for us. We came to love it here because of its peaceful setting, its warm and wonderful people from just about everywhere, its multitude of small offices with a wealth of healthcare providers, lecturers, exercise rooms, and activities. I had worked in assisted living, independent living, memory care, Alzheimer's, dementia facilities for years, but they were no Cypress Village. When I had supposedly terminal cancer several years ago, I would sit by the koi pond next to the lake on a winter's early evening and draw from the quiet balm of tranquility and find our memory brick on the grounds of the little patio that said, "Ned loves Gina, Gina loves Ned." No one could get Ned's last name on a brick. I was content. This was my forever home, and I love it. I would do everything in my power to safeguard this wonderful place, its people, its employees, its vibrant personality. What my bio won't tell you is who I am. However, if you read between the lines of all that I've done, you will see the mountain of memos I took care of, the teamships I built, the listening and caring of staff, the commitment, the dedication and hard work I did, the giving back and the going forward, the communication of meetings and minds, the respect I gave and received, the creativity I had to have as a problem solver, and mostly the love I had for all those who were on my team. As they say, nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. I never did anything with less than 100%. I'm my own worst enemy. But if you ever needed it to be done, I did it and rechecked it. When I heard I was to be nominated for the RAC, I went to the library and read all the minutes for the past year, including the goals for 2024. I wanted to know that I could do this and work with the apartment residents, the housing residents, the committee, and management, all with the passion I always bring to whatever I do. This is the essence of who I am and who I hope you will come to know. Thank you so much.
Good morning, Cypress Villagers. My name is Bill Swan. I've lived here since July 2022 with my wonderful wife, Deb. We looked at most of the Jacksonville retirement communities before deciding on Cypress Village and know that we made a smart move, smart choice. I had experience about 25 years ago with my parents in 2 similar facilities in other states, and let me tell you, this place is head and shoulders above every place else, every place we've looked. Tell you a little bit about me. I was commissioned into the Air Force in 1966 from Virginia Tech, go Hokies, and I did 8.5 years of active duty and then went into the reserve after Vietnam for another 22 years. I retired out of the Air Force Reserve in 1996, and I can still fit into my retirement uniform, which I wear sometimes. While I was on active duty, I earned an MBA and an MPA, and I became an Air Force civilian employee contract manager in 1975. I worked for the Air Force for 12 years, and then I transferred to the Army, and I worked for the Army for another 18 years, and I retired in 2005. I have over 35 years of working with various professional and educational organizations as a leader, both at the local and at the national level. During my professional and volunteer careers, I've developed a reputation as and some expertise as a process improvement specialist, customer service specialist, and I would like to bring a lot of that to the Resident Advisory Council. I want to be your conduit of information to CV management and staff. A couple other things about me. I've worked with the parking committee. I was the handicap parking specialist, if you will. And I'm also the guy that got the 501c3 approved through the IRS for your contributions to the scholarship fund. I am a 13-year cancer survivor, and I know that I can do a good job with the RAC, and I just ask for your vote when it's time. Have a great day.
Good morning, villagers. I have 3 things that I'd like to do this morning, and I should begin by telling you that my name is Jim Wagner. My wife and I have lived here since December of 2022. We live in one of the villas. I want to begin by making a disclaimer and also let you know that my wife and I are in full agreement on this. We are the proud parents of Scott Wagner, who is, as some of you know, is the dentist here at Cypress Village. We love him very much. We're very proud of him. We see he and his wife and his 2 children fairly often, at least weekly. His 2 children are obviously our grandchildren. The disclaimer is that if I am elected to the Residents Advisory Council, that I will recuse myself from any discussion and or decisions about dentistry here at Cypress Village. I pledge that to you. The second thing I want to do is highlight my personal life and experience. My wife and I were married in 1965. We have 59 years plus of marriage under our belts, and we frequently joke with one another and with anyone that brings it up that should we divorce, you should know and be assured that we at least gave it a good try. Other than that, I have 43 years of work experience at the University of Florida Health Center. 30 years of that were as Director of Pastoral Services, and 13 were teaching as a faculty member in the College of Medicine, teaching medical ethics. I retired in 2013 from that position with emeritus status. The third thing I want to mention to you is really total fantasy. And if I meet you and talk to you, I might change my mind. So I'm going to warn you ahead of time. It strikes me that if I were seeing a therapist and I mentioned fantasy life, that they probably would get very interested in the short run. And then when they asked me to share something and I started talking about the Residents Advisory Committee, RAC, they'd probably want to put me on medication right away. So I'm going to share the fantasy anyway. It has to do with budgets. Since we were married, my wife and I have followed a budget. Many of you do also. I'm sure Cypress Village has a budget. I'm sure the management company has a budget. I'm sure that Health Peak, the ultimate owners of this organization, also at least know how to spell budget. They probably have one also, or multiple budgets. I don't know. As all of you are aware, budgets are simply a plan, and sometimes they go our way. Sometimes it works and we have money to go on cruises, or a place like Cypress Village has the budget to do a new fitness center, which we all are enjoying. Regardless, I call that kind of space when things go as hoped, I call that common ground. It's not a mouthful, but it is a challenge to get your head around when you think about it. But that's what I would look for, is the common ground that we all share and how that would fit with goals that we want to achieve. RAC has done a great deal over the years, but there's a great deal left to be done. I'm honored to be nominated, and I would be humbled if elected. Thank you very much.